Hey witches! So today I wanted to talk about ways that you can know that your universe is talking back to you. Because here's the thing, the universe is always talking to you. It's just, to all of us for that matter, it's just that we have, as a species, gotten so disconnected from the natural world. It's hard sometimes for us to remember how to communicate with her, right? So I thought this would be a fun conversation because this is one of the ways that you really start, at least for me, I really started noticing what real magic was and like how it feels. Because the universe will find a way to communicate with you, and it's going to most likely be based in something that would come naturally to you. For example, for myself, I have always been a huge animal person. I love pretty much every species on this planet or that has ever existed. And so, one of the main ways that the universe communicates with me personally is through animals, animal symbolism, various totems that I have worked with, or even, obviously my primary totems and things like that. A really fun story is that in the past year, I have actually acquired a literal familiar. And I absolutely adore him. He's a little street rat. You can actually see a video on my channel. I did not delete that one. Sorry, my dog is like barking his head off because people are walking past the property. So, Sweeney, hey! So anyway, man, that's really distracting. Sorry. One sec. Sorry about that. He's in here now looking ashamed of himself. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So, you can look at the video on my channel here of when I found him. It was literally just over a year ago now, like by a few days. And I was gonna see if he wanted to be in this video with me, but I asked him and he said no. And I try not to force any of my animals to do things they don't feel like doing, because they're sentient as well, Okay, so yeah, how it would look for animals communicating, or the universe communicating through animals, is that you might have frequent dreams about a certain type of animal. You might see them in nature frequently. You might see signs of them all over the place, like pictures of them in media or whatever the case may be, right? They're going to find a way to pop up in your reality. And when they do, obviously use your intuition. Sometimes an animal is just being an animal, but if you run across an animal and it's doing something kind of weird or behaving oddly around you, it might actually be trying to communicate with you. I have had full-on stare-offs with like wild coyotes and deer and all sorts of things that have like behaved differently. And especially after I stopped consuming meat, I had way more interactions with wildlife because I honestly believe, I've talked to other people who also don't consume meat, especially if you're vegan. It's like the animals can sense that you don't consume those things. I don't know if you smell different or what, but it's like they know. And I have had like wildlife literally just come up to me. So, obviously, well, that's not exactly what happened when I found my rodent, but my little treasure nugget. But, yeah, so other ways would be like sequences of numbers, and I know a lot of people talk about this. It's very popular in like New Age communities, but if you see certain sequences of numbers and things like this, it's always important to use your intuition to kind of determine what is being conveyed to you. However, you can also learn what these things traditionally mean, right? Whether it's animals or numbers or even certain plants, cloud formations, whatever. You can look up what any of these things mean. With animals, I would especially look at like what is their behavior typically like, because in their natural behavior and the ways they communicate with each other, that will tell you, and how they live their lives, that will usually tell you something important for, what you need to be aware of. Like my primary totem is a wolf, and wolves are known for being very loyal, for being having leadership skills. They are known for working well together, and they're actually almost very human in the way they interact with each other. And so, teamwork and things like that are things that are symbolized by wolves. They're also very frequently just looked at as like the spirit of the wild, right? And so looking at all of these different things with whatever the species is, Bubba, it's fine. Nobody is here. Looking at all of these types of things will give you an idea of what is trying to be conveyed. Like I said, you can Google what different numbers mean, sequences of numbers, but also use your intuition. And anything in regards to these types of things, like if it doesn't make sense to you and it says something else to you than what you read in a book or online or something, then always go with what it's telling you inside, because that's going to be the most valid. But yeah, like you're going to start noticing that the more you pay attention to these signs that the universe is giving you, if you're into astrology, it's always a good idea. This is kind of a different topic, but it's always a good idea to have an idea what is going on with the planets, with the moon, that sort of thing, because that will also give you, like, that is a primary way that the universe communicates. For those who understand what those things mean, or who are willing to at least like get into it and look at a little bit, you can see what I mean. It's very obvious. But the universe is always talking to us, and the more you tune into that and start paying attention, and even if it's something as simple as like, so simple as like, I've had moments where I'll start setting a drink down in a specific, like on a countertop or something, and I'll have this like thought just drop in my head like it's gonna spill. And if I don't do anything about it, if I don't move it somewhere else, it will absolutely spill. And there can be all kinds of reasons. Maybe it's just a coincidence or whatever, but it seems to happen pretty regularly. So if you just move the drink, right, when you get that message, do this thing, and you start doing that every single time, not only will you have less mishaps and misfortunes happen in your life because you are in tune with the flow, right, but you will also start getting these messages faster and faster and faster. And when you start communicating regularly with the universe around you, that is how you know that like that's literally like when you see true magic start happening, because you start manifesting faster, you stop having so many roadblocks that you keep hitting. And like, yeah, it still can happen. Everyone has blockages that they're still moving through, right? Like, myself included. This is not something that's ever going to completely go away in life, right? Because otherwise we would just like become enlightened and like go to whatever the next phase after that is, right? But so it's a constant learning process. But what I am saying is that the more you find the ways that the universe is going to speak to you directly, and you start talking back to it by taking its advice, doing the things it's suggesting, getting in that flow that we've talked about already before, getting in that flow of, being attuned with the cycles and what the planets are doing and what the seasons, that we're in are doing, and not trying to fight against it so much and not ignoring it, you are going to literally see magic happen. And it is going to feel magical as fuck. All right? So I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this topic for now. Like, this is like pretty much everything we're going to talk about. This is a pretty big topic. If you have personal ways that you have found that you communicate with the universe yourself, and that you have found it speaks to you, please share in the comments below. I would love to hear about it, because everybody is different and everybody receives these messages differently. Everyone's intuition comes to them in different ways, right? And I would love to hear what that is for you. But thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.